Awesome. Thanks. Great afternoon. It's a pleasure being here. My name is Micha Breakstone, and I'm proud to present our company, Chorus.ai. So thanks for joining. So a bit about our history. We were founded in 2015, and immediately when we founded, we started working very hard on developing the core tech. Our underlying AI stack, our natural language processing engine, automatic speech recognition engines, and so on and so forth. And in 2016, we basically developed our product and started selling. 2017, we attained product market fit, started selling more in earnest, announced our round A of around $16 million. And 2018 was a huge year for us. We multiplied revenue by 2.5, attained over 200 paying customers, recorded and analyzed over 4 million conversations, and announced our Series B of $33 million. So that's our history in a nutshell. Again, to repeat some numbers, today we have over 200 paying customers, analyzed in 2018 over 4 million conversations, and currently have over 80 employees across 3 offices. We have a BDR team in Boston, sales and marketing and product sitting in San Francisco, and of course R&D in Tel Aviv. So why analyze conversations to begin with? Basically, it breaks down into 3 main reasons. The first is to understand what separates your top reps from the rest of your reps. If you identify what the best reps are doing, you can help coach lower performing reps into better activities and attaining better results. A second is to be able to reduce ramp time. So by being able to automatically curate playlists and surface what the best conversations are to listen to, you're able to cut down on the ramp time itself for the reps that are ramping up. And a third component is to understand why you're losing deals. So about 80% of deals are lost into thin air with nobody understanding why, what's happening on the conversations, why the deals are actually being lost. By being able to analyze conversations at scale, we can identify patterns of why specific deals are lost, why they're won, and help obviate for conversations that are lost. So our solution is a conversation intelligence platform. What that means is that we record conversations, we transcribe them in real time, and we analyze insights in real time. Basically, what we do is we deconstruct conversations into the core semantic and phonetic core components of every conversation, being able to tell you in real time everything that's going on in a conversation. What topics were discussed? Is there a risk to the deal? Was there a question that was asked? If the question was asked, did it create engagement in the other side? Or pain points, was there a pain point that arose? And any other topic that comes to mind. So that's a really cool technology that we've built. To repeat, we record the conversation, we transcribe it using our own proprietary both language model and acoustic models. We surface and analyze topics and everything that goes on in a conversation. And what's really cool is we're able to model even topics that we did not identify earlier on in the conversation. So things like a new product launch, a new feature, a new positioning, we're able to do all of that even if we did not previously encounter such topics. And finally, a very important component is once we have all of this abundance of data, we're able to overlay it and enrich the CRM with this data. So we have some absolutely amazing companies that we work with as partners and customers. So companies like Zoom and Outreach and Envision and Adobe and MongoDB and many other great logos. And we've seen our ability to help them increase win rates by up to 30% and reduce ramp times by about up to 50%. We also integrate with a huge amount of solutions. So anything from Salesforce as a CRM, Slack for sharing. In terms of email and calendars, we connect with G Suite, Outlook, Microsoft Exchange. In terms of video conferencing, so we basically run the full gamut, everything from Zoom, WebEx, RingCentral, Skype, and everything basically out there. And in terms of dialers as well, we basically support most of the prominent dialers out there, like RingCentral, SalesLoft, InsideSales.com, Outreach, and many others. So I'd like to take a few moments to share some learnings that we've had across the years. Some of these learnings are insights that are specific to customers, but other insights are more generic and hold for many customers across the board in SaaS and beyond. So for specific customers, some cool facts that we learned. When Zoom started selling by pitching their founding story about why Eric Yuan founded Zoom and what was his motivation and comparing it to his experience in WebEx, we found that they increased sales win rates significantly. Another similar example is when Outreach started selling with a competitive positioning against their competitors, they also saw an increase in win rates. And a final customer-specific example is a company called Insights Squared, where we literally helped them. They were literally leaving money on the table. What do I mean by that? They were offering discounts way too early in a deal without it actually impacting the outcome of the deal. So without it affecting their winning their win rates, they were offering discounts way too early in a deal. So those are customer-specific insights. We also have some amazing or some very interesting insights that are generic across customers. So if you had to guess whether top sales reps asked more or less questions than the standard sales rep or sales reps that are not at the top of the top, what would you guess? The top sales reps ask more or less questions than other sales reps? Any guess? More. Okay, so the actual answer is the top sales reps and lower performing sales reps ask the same amount of questions on average. The difference is that top reps ask more engaging questions. They ask open-ended questions, questions that elicit a longer response time. So for example, rather than asking something like, who is your decision maker, they'll ask something much more open, like, can you tell me a little bit more about the decision-making process at your organization, eliciting longer response times, uncovering pains, uncovering more of what the prospect may be holding back on, and sharing where they're coming from. Other examples are when discussing things like contracts, top sales reps use a much more collaborative language. So for example, they'll use words like we and us and together when discussing a contract. So we'll send over the contract and we'll review it together to get a better outcome for all of us, versus lower performing reps that will use words that are much more factional, like I and you and stuff like that. And a final example I'll give is for setting action items. Again, if you look at top sales reps versus lower performing sales reps, they actually on average set the same exact amount of action items. The difference is when they begin setting those action items. So top performing reps start setting the action items and the next steps way earlier into the conversation, somewhere around mid-conversation. When they do that, they get basically a buy-in way earlier in the conversation. And so that when they get to the end of the conversation, they're just confirming what they had agreed upon earlier on. If there's pushback to the action items, to the next steps, it comes up way earlier into the conversation and they're able to solve for that. So those are a few examples of insights that we found along the years. Walking through some case studies, so Playster, we helped reduce shadowing of calls by 70% by surfacing who needs coaching and on what topics. For Zoom, we were able to decrease the ramp time by about 50% by automatically curating playlists for new reps to listen to. For House Call Pro, we were able to increase win rates by identifying and surfacing what a winning talk track sounds like. And for Guru, we were able to shorten sales cycles by creating collaboration and transparency across different departments, including sales engineering, product, and marketing. So that was Chorus in a few words, and how we help our customers attain better quotas and more generally have better go-to-market conversations. Thank you very much for listening.